Hi, welcome to How to Repair. In this video I'll be showing you what a defrost cycle looks like after it has been repaired. We replaced the defrost element in the fridge side because the fridge was not getting cold in the fridge, but the freezer was working perfectly, and we replaced the defrost element, and I thought I'd show you what the cycle should look like when it's running perfectly. Right, we've actually just done a defrost heating system change on the fridge side of this American style Samsung fridge freezer RSH1. And basically I didn't record this because I've done this in other videos, which I'll put the links on this tutorial. So if you go to the website onto this tutorial, you'll actually find videos below showing you how to change a defrost element. But basically the element on this fridge freezer had gone open circuit in the fridge. Now the symptoms for this to happen was the freezer was working correctly, but the fridge was getting too warm. And this was after a couple of weeks of using the fridge freezer. Basically the fridge started to get warmer and warmer, and this was because ice builds up on the matrix because a defrost didn't take place correctly. Now we actually have changed it, and I'm going to show you what wasn't taking place. And what wasn't taking place was the fridge side was not defrosting correctly, and therefore we could see on the graphing system that no wattage was being pulled, or not the correct wattage. Basically when a defrost is working, it should be pulling somewhere between 4 and 450 watts, and this should run for roughly about a 10-minute period. So we initially plugged the fridge freezer in, and the room temperature was 15 degrees. This will vary, the cycle will vary basically with regards to temperature, room temperature, because the motor run time is different. So basically we plugged the fridge freezer in, and it got down to temperature minus 23, I think I saw there. Yeah, 21, 23. And basically after 9 hours it went into defrost. This is because there was more motor time when it was pulling down to temperature because it wasn't cycling. But basically once it had got down to temperature, it then cycles roughly at 15 degrees. It will cycle roughly every 23 hours. You can see the defrost taking place here, 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 and here, and so on. So if we look at the time here, we've got 12 o'clock at night, it went into defrost mode. The next day it was roughly 11 o'clock. The day after it was roughly 10 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So it's roughly a 23-hour cycle on a 15-degree room temperature. Now I'm quickly going to show you the components here that fail. If the defrost is not working on the fridge side, it will be the defrost system for the fridge, which is here, or possibly the sensor. You may have a problem also with the fan not blowing the air through the cabinet. If the fridge fan fails, this can be a problem. If the freezer is getting a little bit above temperature, so in other words it's not cycling at between 20 and 16 degrees, then you may have a problem with the defrost system in the freezer. But let me zoom in so I can show you a defrost taking place correctly. These little spikes here, by the way, are just a capacitor on startup. Sometimes the system records this. But this, the blue block here is the motor running. So this is the compressor turning on, bringing the temperature down to the correct temperature, minus 22. Once it's reached the temperature in the fridge and the freezer compartment, it then turns off. And once the temperature gets to roughly 5 degrees, this is what we set it on the control panel, and 16 on the freezer, it cuts in. And the motor then brings the temperature back down to minus 22 and the correct temperature in the fridge. And as I said, at 15 degrees room temperature, you can see here that a defrost took place. So the motor ran, then it turns off and goes into a defrost mode. And the defrost mode is basically running. So if we look at the timeline here, it's 21:44, and it turns off at 57. So roughly a 12-13 minute defrost cycle. And as you can see, because the element came on to melt the ice, the temperature in the freezer compartment rose to -6, which is normal on a defrost. As soon as it's defrosted, The motor then will run for a longer period of time, which you can see here, and basically then turn itself off and go back into its normal cycling mode. And that's basically the defrost system for this fridge freezer. You can find out all repair videos at the website on changing defrost systems, and parts are available at the website as well. I hope you found this video useful, and please remember to shop with us. Thanks very much indeed for watching.